Welcome to the July 8th, 2024 meeting of the Troy City Council. Please rise for the invocation and then remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Dear Lord, please be with us tonight and guide us in our thoughts, ideas, and decisions. Bless all who are present, both here in our council chamber, as well as those watching online, and even our fellow residents who maybe are just out enjoying the summer evening in Troy. Be with us, and as always, please be with all of our first responders. Protect them as they work to serve and protect all of us. We ask this in your name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll now call the July 8th, 2024 Troy City Council meeting to order and ask for the roll call from Ms. Dixon.
Mayor Baker, Councilmember Brooks.
Here.
Councilmember Chamberlain-Krenga.
Here.
Councilmember Chanda.
Here.
Councilmember Gunn.
Here.
Councilmember Hamilton.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hoderick.
Here. We do have a quorum this evening, but we received notice that Mayor Baker will be out of the county this evening. And so I will move, resolved that the Troy City Council excuses the absence of Mayor Ethan Baker at the regular City Council meeting of July 8th, 2024, due to being out of the county.
Support.
Moved by the chair, supported by Councilmember David Hamilton, that we will approve the resolution to excuse the absence as read into the record. Any discussion? The vote, Ms. Dixon.
Councilmember Brooks.
Yes.
Councilmember Chamberlain-Krenga.
Yes.
Councilmember Chanda.
Yes.
Councilmember Gunn.
Yes.
Councilmember Hamilton.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hoderick.
Yes. Motion carries. This leads us into certificates of recognition and special presentations. There are no certificates of recognition and special presentations tonight. We have no carryover items this evening, no public hearings, and I don't see that anyone has signed up for public comment for any items on the agenda for Troy residents and businesses. There are no postponed items, and so we move on to regular business. There are no mayoral appointments tonight and no city council appointments. There are no mayoral nominations and no city council nominations. There is no closed session requested tonight. This brings us to I-4, Contract Ratification, Troy Command Officers Association, TCOA, as introduced by Jeanette Menig, our Human Resources Director.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and City Council. I'm here tonight to introduce the tentative agreement that the city has reached with the Troy Command Officers Association. As included in your packet, the agreement includes increased wages, shift premium, vacation maximum increase, and clothing and cleaning allowance enhancements, as well as the enhanced dental program that has been implemented for other groups, and then a slew of administrative language. I should note that in the tentative agreement summary document in the packet, I transposed two numbers. So the correct numbers of the wage separation between sergeants and lieutenants and captains is what's in the attachment, the actual tentative agreement. I just have a 10 and a 20 transposed in that summary document. The union has already held their ratification vote, and they have approved this agreement, and city management supports and recommends approving the agreement. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Does anyone have any questions? Would anyone like to move the resolution? Councilmember Brooks?
Oh, okay, thank you, Mayor. I move I-4, Contract Ratification, Troy Command Officers Association, TCOA, as printed in the agenda.
Support.
Moved by Councilmember Brooks, supported by Councilmember Chanda, that we approve I-4, Contract Ratification, Troy Command Officers, TCOA. Is there any discussion? Just glad to have this pulled together. And with that, we'll take the vote. Ms. Dixon?
Councilmember Chamberlain Craig.
Yes.
Councilmember Chanda.
Yes.
Councilmember Gunn.
Yes.
Councilmember Hamilton.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hoderick.
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks.
Yes.
This brings us to I-5, motion carries. This brings us to I-5, Contract Ratification, Troy Fire Staff Officers Association, TFSOA, again introduced by Jeanette Menig, our Human Resources Director.
And so I'll now present the tentative agreement that the city has reached with the Troy Fire Staff Officers Association. This agreement includes some similar things, some increased wages, clothing allowance, life insurance enhancement. It also has an accelerated timeline for vacation accrual, has the same enhanced dental plan as other agreements, and also administrative language changes. Likewise, the union has held their ratification vote and approved this agreement, and city management supports and recommends approval as well. And I'm again available for any questions.
Does anyone have any questions? Would anyone like to move the resolution? Councilmember Chanda?
I move item I-5, Contract Ratification of Troy Fire Staff Officers Association, as printed on the agenda packet.
Support.
Moved by Councilmember Chanda, supported by Councilmember Chamberlain Craig. The motion, the contract ratification, Troy Fire Staff Officers Association, TFSOA, as printed in the agenda packet. Is there any discussion? It just occurs to me, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I just wanted to, it's a chance to remind residents who are listening, we have an amazing fire force of firefighters. Most of them are actually, as you know, volunteers, but we do have these 12 paid staff members, and this is regarding benefits to those 12 staff members. So just a reminder in case folks might be tuning in for the first time, just an educational opportunity.
Thank you. Any other comments? I would just add, appreciate both of these contracts coming forward. There's very little discussion from the table because we do have information in our agenda packet and we do follow and are well-informed. And so this becomes a procedural item almost for us tonight. We're glad of it, really proud of our first responder community and our command officers in both our police and fire. So thank you. The vote, Ms. Dixon?
Councilmember Chanda.
Yes.
Councilmember Gunn.
Yes.
Councilmember Hamilton.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hoderick.
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks.
Yes.
Councilmember Chamberlain Craig.
Yes.
Motion carries. That concludes regular business this evening. Next is the consent agenda. Does anyone wish to pull an item from the consent agenda this evening? Councilman Hamilton.
I'd like to move all items on the consent agenda as printed in the agenda packet.
Support.
Moved by Councilman Hamilton, supported by Councilmember Chamberlain Craig, that we approve all items in the consent agenda in the agenda packet. Any discussion? The vote, Ms. Dixon.
Councilmember Gunn.
Yes.
Councilmember Hamilton.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Hoderick.
Yes.
Councilmember Brooks.
Yes.
Councilmember Chamberlain Craig.
Yes.
Councilmember Chanda.
Yes.
Motion carries. If you're here for an item on the consent agenda, all items have been approved. Next up are memorandums and future council agenda items, and there are none this evening. So we move on to public comment for items not on the agenda from Troy residents and businesses, and I don't see that anyone has signed up. There are no council referrals this evening. So we move on to reports. Does anyone have any comments about the reports? I just wanted to comment, there was one positive piece that came in about our new skating pavilion, and folks are definitely enjoying it and appreciate it there. There's one letter in, but I am hearing lots of positive feedback about it. So if you're watching and you haven't had a chance to take a drive-by or take a look, you'll want to make sure to do that. We move on to council comments. Does anyone have a comment tonight? Councilmember Gunn.
I got a couple. So I don't know, I'm sure the rest of city council has heard, I have heard from several residents, fireworks. I do know that, I believe from what I've read, that the 11 a.m. to 11:45 is state mandated, but the concern is the shooting of the fireworks in the backyard. And potentially, I've experienced it, and I don't know if we've ever had a fire here, but I know Clinton Township just had one from somebody shooting in the backyard. I don't know if there's anything that we can look at, consider, propose.
City Attorney Bloom.
I can answer that, Mayor, just because we've done a lot of research on this throughout the years. Unfortunately, the state law preempts any local regulations that we might adopt. So unfortunately, the answer is no, we can't restrict them from backyards. We do have the most restrictive fireworks ordinance that we can have under the existing state law.
Okay. All right. And then I have one more item, if that's okay. And I know there's been a lot of effort and movement to try and bring back some of the senior programs, maybe improve them, and that I think is important. One of the things that's been a concern to me that I want to, help put something together is, with social media, there's so many people behind Facebook and Twitter that are, fake, and these seniors get taken advantage of. And we've seen so many stories about, and the police do a great job of doing a presentation. I think we need to do more presentations, because it's not just for the seniors, but the families see all these different scams that come up. And I also think maybe we could even have something on our website that's, suggestions about, because I mean, just before I even came here, you probably all get them. We get an email that says, oh, your Xfinity account is past due, and click on this thing, right? And it's not, it's automatically paid, so you hover over it, and it's like the email is fake. But I do, because I feel terrible. I've seen some of these people lose hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's a very small chance any of that money comes back to them. Some of these are overseas, and I just would like to see if we could talk about, have discussions about how we could more educate the seniors.
Councilmember Chamberlain Crainga.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. And on that topic, I know some of us, if you're in the workforce, we are to nauseam, have to do a lot of trainings, and our IT departments try to spoof us. That actually happens here as well with our IT. But it does remind us that, this is different what you're talking about with our seniors, and grateful for some of the recent pieces put out by the police department, including the Troy Times on the front page recently. Maybe it begs the question of just some information on kind of courses that the library offers. I'm not sure what they offer, or through Friends of the Troy Seniors, if they're offering any special workshops or in partnership, maybe like say with the Community Foundation or something. But I'm happy to explore what are we doing? Because I presume the library probably is doing something, and what more could we continue to support? But what I wanted to share was just, wishing everyone, hope you had a wonderful Independence Day weekend. It was a reminder to me as I was reflecting on how much and how important local government is, how we are often the front line in really engaging residents and assuring those democratic values that starts with residents feeling like they have a voice, feeling like they have a say in what we do. And so just grateful for what we all do, grateful for my colleagues, and just, again, just reaffirming that commitment of what local government does in a very special way. Thirdly, just wanted to share, it's not necessarily with city government, but for any residents listening, if you happen to use a Rite Aid, people probably heard the news that Rite Aid, has gone bankrupt, and sadly, all stores are closing in Michigan. So I went to the store on Coolidge and Crooks, and the pharmacy closed on the 2nd, and probably got notification in the mail, but all prescriptions have been moved to the closest Walgreens store in Birmingham. So it's unfortunate. I was talking to people who've worked there, people who I've been going there since I lived in Troy, I have a relationship with. And it was the most used store in the state of Michigan, actually, of all the Rite Aids. And so there's been a part of me, I've been mourning this loss, and also what does it mean for, healthcare writ large. But again, just, encouraging residents, if you haven't heard already that, prescriptions have moved to Walgreens. But it's sad to lose a business. And, I may follow up in a Q&A to ask kind of what does that mean in terms of economic development. I'm not sure how I've seen pharmacies become redeveloped, so I'm curious to know also what that might mean from an economic development planning kind of perspective as well. So.
Councilman Chanda?
Yeah, I also wanted to add to that. First of all, I hope everybody had a happy and a very wonderful 4th of July and also long weekend. In terms of the senior scam, I believe Attorney General Dana Nessel is either having or had a event in Troy. I don't remember the exact date, but they had one few months ago in Clawson. And I encourage people who are watching either attend that, and also it would be nice to have maybe in the library some kind of a session where we can inform the seniors about the common scams. I think this is very concerning. I agree with Councilmember Gunn. It is something we need to make sure. I think I read somewhere or heard in the news that a Troy senior was scammed of hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's not coming back. That's not something you usually get back. It's a good thing to mention, and I believe we need to put more effort on that. Another thing I wanted to mention that we had this ice skating ring opening a few months ago. It was a wonderful event. And in the last meeting, we talked about a new library building, and I heard from some members of the community, they're under the impression that the library money is going to the ice skating ring. So people that are watching, I just wanted to make sure that you understand even though they're adjacent to each other, library money, not a single penny from the library is going to the ice skating ring. It's mostly federal grant money that was used, and some of the city parks and recreation dollar will be used. The millage used by the library stays with the library. It looks nice from the library parking lot, but they are independent events. I just wanted to assure people that is not the case. But otherwise, it was a very nice weekend. Hope everybody had a good time.
Councilmember Brooks?
Thank you, Mayor. I also wanted to, I hope everyone experienced a safe and wonderful 4th of July. I also just wanted to remind everybody on Wednesdays about the farmers market that's taking place in the Gene Stein Park from 3 to 7. It is new Wednesdays as opposed to previous years, so come out and check it out. And also this Wednesday, July 10th, the Troy Garden Club will have their annual Troy Garden Walk, which is a wonderful event where you get to go and visit 6 different properties, gardens, and really experience that. And I really enjoy that event. It's from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And you can pick up your tickets at the Historic Village, or you can go online and see, get tickets there as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Just coming back to Councilmember Gunn's basic question, is there more that we can be doing from the city perspective to put the caution out there about scams? And as you said, it's not just seniors. There's people. I don't know, City Manager Brunner, if staff would want to have a little bit of time to think about something and maybe report back, or if you have some thoughts off the top of your head right now.
Yeah, my thought is like yours. It's not just seniors. Person in my family who was recently affected was in his 20s. So I'm gonna meet with, excuse me, recreation, library, PD, relevant departments, as well as communications, to come up with a plan to try to spread the word about that, because it's something that's happening more and more. And like I said, I've had one family member who unfortunately lost thousands of dollars. Had another family member who, fortunately, after spending a lot of time with a scammer on the phone, didn't give that person her bank account number and routing number. And I think it was in part because I'm her nephew and I drill it into her that, just because somebody calls you and says they're from the FBI doesn't call. They knock on the front door. And when they do, just close your mouth, because lying to a federal agent is a crime. So yeah, we'll work on that.
I think you have consensus here that anything the city sees, even social media posts in the meantime that are helpful, that we can help share, we're happy to do that. And, the smartest among us get duped. I saw a news report of a former investigator, I think he might have been FBI person, who came this close to being scammed himself and then put himself out there to say, if it can happen to me, it can happen to anyone. So there's a sophistication and a brazenness to it, and it's easy to get duped. So I appreciate Councilmember Gunn bringing up the concern further. I don't have any other comments except to say thank you to everyone for bearing with me chairing the meeting. It is harder than people might think. I know Mayor Baker, and I am no Mayor Baker. He can chair a meeting like no one's business. So thank you for your patience tonight with me. There is no closed session this evening, so we are adjourned.